Hi guys, many of you asked for a video on how to change the N215 and 216 valves on the DSG6 DQ250 Mechatronic unit, and I had time to do it now. This is my setup at home, so it's how I do it. You can do it, if you can do it better, you can do it by yourself in another way. What we will need for this, you can see I put some baking paper for the oven. You know, this is holding the oil if there is any oil in the unit. Some of you told me I have to wear gloves. Well, I'm wearing gloves now. What you will need would be a screwdriver with a T20 bit and a bit bigger bit, a T30. That's all what you need to dismantle it. So first we have 4 screws here. It's 1, 2, 3 and 4 here. That's holding the plastic interconnector. So you can see here 1, 2, 3, 4. This we will have to take out, so we take the connector out in order to have access to the valves. So I will go on and just start unscrewing this. I will just untighten them first with the screwdriver. And then I will pop them out. So as you can see, these screws have a bit of neck here. This is where the plastic connector will be. Well, it's going the same way with the last one. Now that we have the unit, I have disconnected the plastic. Now we will just have to disconnect the connector from the PCB, and it's coming out here. You have is a push here. We turn it around and slowly pull up the plastic connector. So this is the plastic connector. This makes the connection between all the valves on the Mechatronic unit. Now, as depicted in the self-study program 308, SSP308 from Volkswagen, all the pictures you will see are in this way, with the connector up. And we will have the N215 here and the N216 here. Then this is the N217. Down here we will have the N371, N233, and all these small ones are the gear valves. So usually when something goes wrong, it's the N215 or N216 valve that goes broken in these units. So what we want to do now is take out these 2 valves and see if we can change them. It's easier for me to hold it this way. They are held onto the valve body with 4 screws. And we will just try to take them out. They are pretty tight, so I will need to use a bit of force. 1 out, 2 out, 3 out, and I think I forgot one. Yeah, there. So once I've loosened them, I can just take it out very easy. So in order to not make a mess here, I'm going to have to put some paper. So I'm going to remove the screws, and then this is one of the valves. This is how it looks like. So this here, it's the N215. On the units, on the valves, you will notice some numbers. These are production numbers. It's not the part number actually for this solenoid. The part number, it's another one. I don't remember it exactly right now, but this is just the manufacturing number. And now we are going to take out the N216. N215 and N216 are the same. You can change them between them, up or down, doesn't matter, they are the same. But if you change the valves, any of the valves, you will have to perform gearbox adaptation before you can drive the car again, because the unit will learn the values for the valves. So once you change one valve, you will have to just make the adaptation again when you put the mechatronic unit back in the car. So if you are just going to clean it, it's important to remember which one is the N215 and which one is the N216. Now, under the valves we have a very small filter that will hold back any mess you have inside the oil. If you are going to clean it, take care not to clean it with something based on alcohol, because this is a very fragile gasket made out of silicone, and if you are cleaning with the alcohol you might damage it. So I do not recommend cleaning with alcohol. Good, now we took out the N215, N216. When you replace them with some new ones, they are going to come in some boxes directly from Borg Warner. Maybe I don't pronounce it correctly, but that's how I say it. Sorry for my English. So Borg Warner is the one that's producing the valves. There are also some other companies that make these valves. I do not recommend changing them with some China valves. I've seen a lot of customers that bought from China and had problems with the valves, and that's why I do not recommend buying something else. But it's up to you. Of course, the Borg Warner, it's a bit more expensive. The China are a bit less expensive, quite very cheap actually. But as I said, I do not recommend changing them with the China models. Another component that's sometime burning, it's the N217 or the N218. So 217, 218, and down here we have the N371 and then the N233. 217 to 18 are the same, and 371 and N233 are also the same. If you look closer, you will see that here I have bushing copper. It's quite big on both 371 and 233, and on the 217, 218 they are quite small. So this bushing, copper bushing, is very small on this and this one, 217, 218, and 371 and 233 are bigger bushings. So these two are the same, these two are the same. So it doesn't matter which goes where, in which position. You can just buy one of them and then change it. In order to take that out, let's take one. For example, we will take the 371 down here in this corner. just to see what's all about. They are held with one screw on the valve body. And then we will see down under there is a hole where the oil comes on, and you have a black rubber O-ring. Usually when we refurbish, we change also the O-rings because some oil might slip between the O-ring and the valve body. It's not so often that this happens, but sometimes it does. So this is one of the other valves that we actually have to change because they get burned. And they get burned because of the bad oil quality and overheating. When the oil is old and loses some of the qualities, the valves are much more stressed and then they tend to burn. Now let's look at one of the gear valves. They are held fast with 3 screws. I'll just take one where I have easier access to it, and that would be the N88 down here. So we just take this out. So the last screw, I skipped the other ones. Now when you take this out, be careful. Under the valve there is a shim, I call it, and a ball bearing. So as you can see, here is the valve, here you have the ball bearing, and then you have this this aluminum shim. I'll just take the ball and just put it here. Watch out when you take this one out, you can see there is a position where it has to be. So the one with the legs, let's call them legs, goes down, very oily, and then the ball down on top. Inside, let's see if we can see it here. I'm not sure. Yeah, you will have a spring and 2 rubber gaskets. As you can see here, this one might have leaked a little bit, but that's not 100% sure. So usually we will change this one also, or you can find some emulsion that will re-soften the rubber rings, so you don't need to change them. But I recommend changing them if you have them. If not, just take it out, inspect it and see if it's everything okay as it should be. And I usually turn them upside down to have better contact. As I said before, this is my way of doing it. If you think it's wrong, just do it as you think is right. I'm not. Good. Putting it back, it's very easy, the same way. The spring, you take it, you put it back, doesn't matter which way. It's inside. Now let's see if we can take the ball and put it in. It's in. Usually the shim will stick to the valve, so you don't need to take care of that one. Easy, it's fitting and it's on. Back, putting the screws. Remember, the screws for the valves have no neck here. The ones for the plastic connector have a neck here. You can see there is a difference. and putting it back on. So this unit, it's burnt, totally burnt. That's why I don't need to fix it or change anything. I just use it as a demonstration to show you how it's done, or how I do it. I'm sure there are many guys smart out there that will do it in another way and get the same results. It's just a valve. When you tighten it, just tighten by hand. Don't over tight. Just be sure it's sitting good and the seal it's closed, because you don't want any oil leaking out. So just firm. I'm not at the end right now. Yes. 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 And as I said, I put in the wrong screw. I have to take it out again. It's exactly what I told you about. Don't change the screws. Use the same type as it was in. And I found one without the neck. It's going in. I cannot use the electrical screwdriver here because the place is very tight and I have no place for the head or the bit. Just tight and try it again. Try it again. And this is about it. This one, as you can see, the filter, you can just turn it upside down as you want. Just watch for any debris, clean it, and you can just put it back. As you can see, there is a play. That means it's sliding up and down. I'm not sure if this valve is okay. I didn't measure it. This is going also well. You will have to measure and then just see exactly if it's okay or not. On the big ones, we need 2 screws on each. It's on. It's on. Put the other one also. On. And on. Tighten by hand. See. And this. Watch out, don't push too much so you don't break the leg. Hold it. Don't tighten too hard because this gasket with the filter is plastic and you might break it. So after you changed all the valves and you put back all the screws, make sure everything is tight. You put back the plastic connector. As you can see, inside here we have some small, I'm not sure if you can see it, but I have some small metal connectors that will touch the legs of the valves. Usually I tend to push them so they're a little bit more tight when when I connect them back, so I don't have any. So I'm just going to press them down one by one, easy. Don't hurry, because you might push them too far away and they will break on the other side. So as you can see, easy, 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 and go around all of them. When you're done, put it back here and easy push them in the connectors. Do not push too much down, just so they are nice. Good. Then the only thing left, it's the 4 screws for the connector. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that's about it. I will spend see, it's enough, you don't have to use force. This is not going anywhere. And now reconnect and you are done. Well, another question is another question I get from the users, from you guys, it's how do I see which type of unit I have in my car? Well, you can either use a diagnostic tool like VAS or VCDS or VCP or whatever tool you have on hand and read the hardware ID, or you can just look on this unit here. I'm not sure if you can see, but here it's written on the black cover the model number. On this case I have a 02E92770AE. So this is an AE unit, the mostly used unit on vehicles between 206, 205, 206 up to 2008. When VW changed, or Audi, the concern changed the units to another unit called AG, and then they went up to AM and AL. So this is a CXX hardware unit, the first generation with the Motorola chipset, and it's the most common in the cars between the years 2005, 6 and up to 2008, 9. Main problem with these units, it's either the valves are going to burn, and if the valves are not going to burn, then the circuitry inside the unit, it's under this cover here, it's burning. The problem is diode, or if it's worse, it will be a transistor that's burned inside it. If the diode it's burned, it's possible to change it, but if the transistor is burned, then there is no chance to change it, at least not for me, and I think nobody will use that amount of time to change a film component type of transistor, because it's very hard to change. Under the cover we have a lot of silicone that is covering all the circuitry. So this is how you change the valves. Also in my previous video I showed you that here between the valve body parts we have a gasket. It's an aluminum gasket, but on each side of the aluminum gasket you have some paper gasket. I don't know if it's if you can see it or not. Here I have one paper gasket, aluminum, and then another paper gasket again. This gasket sometimes fails and you will start losing pressure on the unit, and then you have to change the gasket. So that's about it for today. Thanks for watching. Bye guys.